Hello and welcome to the Team 3 debate arguing the for position that the incorporation of information technology has a positive effect on third world countries. In this presentation, we will be discussing the positive impact of IT with respect to economic, social, and political benefits to third world countries. Information technology can be defined as an infrastructure and linked to services which networks entrepreneurs, companies, clients, and most importantly, the world as a whole. The role of computers in telecommunications has helped corporations, governments, and people to manage tasks more efficiently and improve their collaborations. The impact of information technology has also led to the improvements in people's lives through the services such as banking and more convenient sources to applicable knowledge. The transformation of information technology has led to a highly dynamic economy by improving global trade, encouraging entrepreneurship, and creating job opportunities. Information technology helps to connect buyers and sellers by providing up-to-date information on economic data. Technological advancements include automated processes and self-regulating machines, which increase production capabilities, ultimately increasing exportation of goods. With incorporation of IT, third world countries have greater access to retailers and customers. For example, the advancement of technology has enabled nations such as South Africa to exceed manufacturing growth estimates due to the rise of exported goods to 5.4%. Libya has seen an increase in manufacturing and industrial production growth rate thanks to the further exposure of their products to the international markets. With global trades, IT offers greater mobility and flexibility in capital, finance, flows, and services. With access to capital investment, businesses in third world countries can finance projects and infrastructure to develop new markets and investment. For example, governments of developing countries can allocate funds to encourage entrepreneurship and innovation. Within this diversified economy, clients and customers are more easily accessible. McKinsey & Company in 2011 conducted a research project showing that the number one business obstacle expressed by 5 African countries was access to customers, which accounted for 23% of their overall business obstacles. The expansion of technology in third world nations has provided national residents the opportunity to acquire skills in their trade of interest. This broadens their skill set, allowing for the expansion of services. 42% of African employees now work outside of agriculture due to the accessibility that information technology provides. In addition to broadening skill sets, more jobs are created as entrepreneurs build and develop their products and services. As a result, employment rates have increased and allows for higher quality of life among residents as they receive payment for their work. Africa has expanded its employment persons to 91 million people since 2002, thanks to its technological advancements in the last 11 years. Information technology has many social advantages. IT can make communication among people easier and faster. Chat applications such as Skype make communication convenient and accessible. IT can also help break down the language barrier. With access to the internet, people in third world countries can easily communicate with other nations of different languages. Language translation tools such as Google Translate, for example, can convert foreign documents to a native language, thus assisting communication with international business partners. Information technology also impacts the field of education. Availability of structured education in third world countries is limited by insufficient resources and teachers. The ability for knowledgeable teachers to reach more classrooms through the use of video conferencing and other technologies is essential. This allows teachers in various locations to instruct a wider audience of students, even those in remote locations. The impact of accessible education is widespread as students are prepared with the tools needed for their careers. An important social aspect of IT in third world development is digital inclusion. Digital inclusion can be defined as having access to the physical and human support tools that people need in order to participate in an increasingly digital world. Unfortunately, the population of digitally included and ultimately benefit the power of information technology. The tools to support this digital inclusion are an important step in developing the third world, and many organizations, including those listed on the previous slide, not only provide access to IT, but also provide support to those assessing it. The benefits of digital inclusion have a wide range of social impacts, with only a small number listed here. In a recent study established in 2013 by the University of Washington, the positive impacts of IT were documented in what was called the Global Impact Study. The study involved numerous developing third world countries including Bangladesh, Botswana, Ghana, and South Africa, among others. It was noted that more than half of the users surveyed had the first ever contact with IT in a public access location, like those set up by the entities on the previous slide. These public access locations also served as the only source of access to the internet for at least a third of the users. Overall, the study showed that there were significant positive impacts to all social areas with minimal negative impacts. Notable positive impacts include 25 to 40% of respondents reported positive impacts on their access to government information and services, local language and culture activities, health, and sending or receiving remittances. Over 90% of respondents using IT found what they were looking for. Over 50% of users would see a reduction in their IT use if a public access menu were no longer available. The only significant negative impacts were time, financial savings, and income. These impacts can most likely be attributed to the current limited access of IT on the third world. The limited access means that significant costs to the end user in terms of travel time, travel cost, and potential usage fees associated with IT would amount to the minimal negative impact. These impacts would decrease as IT is further deployed in third world countries. Third world countries want their government to be easily accessible and provide information that benefit them. This can build trust between the government and their citizens. By putting data online, the data is more accessible. Instead of wondering if the government keeps a certain data secret from citizens, they can check a website first and hopefully find it there. Recording meetings on TV or online would provide citizens with the chance to see what is being discussed. In order for the transparency of data to reach the people, information technology plays a lead role. Looking at the example in Afghanistan, North Korea, and Somalia, these countries do not have enough development, and every individual does not have access to the internet. Even if the governments in these countries provided information, people do not have the technology to access them easily. The government is responsible for making services attainable and accessible to the people. Information technology gives a medium to the people to obtain services provided by the government. Proper welfare and tax collection from the people with distribution can help the country develop as a whole. With information technology, people can reach out to the government through a local authority. For example, they could access to a bank account or register for government services. As for bridging the gap between the rich and the poor, the government has to reach out to people living below the poverty line. In order to move towards a developed country, the government has to maintain an increased income average. IT helps develop and monitor this aspect of society. In conclusion, information technology has many benefits to third world countries. The economy is boosted through an increased exchange of goods and services. Access to quality education has many positive social and economic benefits. And finally, greater government transparency and access to government services helps progress third world countries to a more developed state.